outstanding fall color. Thanks to all our callers. Thanks to our sponsors. Thanks, of course, to our producer, Ella, because as you all well know, without Ella, this show just wouldn't happen. So, Ella, thank you so much for all that you do now. Think about where you're going to plant a tree or two or three, including the white oaks. Be pollinator-friendly. Pamper your worms and make it the best weekend of your life. See ya.
Listen on the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, news, talk, and sports radio. Podcasts, too. Download the app. Free never sounded so good.
Don't miss Shocktober savings at Coughlin Chevrolet, Central Ohio's #1 Chevy dealer. Lease a new Silverado Crew Cab, $299 a month. Or choose 0% financing or up to $8,500 off MSRP on select new Silverados at all 5 Coughlin Chevy locations and CoughlinChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive.
36-month lease, 10,000 miles per year, 25 cents per mile over, $49.95 due at signing, plus tax, title, and license. 0% for 36 months equals $27.78 per 1,000 finance. See dealer for details. Ends 10/31/24.
This is Corey Sickles with Safe Harbor Retirement Group. If you are retired or in the planning stages, we can help you maximize your income. Visit safeharboroh.com to schedule a complimentary meeting. safeharboroh.com.
Hey, it's Matt McCoy for Germain Honda of Dublin. You know, in Columbus, we're always excited when it's football season. Well, if you're looking to buy a new vehicle, going with my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin is a touchdown. I stopped by recently, extremely professional and friendly, a low-stress environment, and some great deals, including 1.9% APR on most new 2024 and 2025 Hondas. You could also get an extra $1,000 for your trade-in. See dealer for details. Stop by today at Sawmill and 270 or visit GermainHondaofDublin.com.
At the Original Mattress Factory, we know most people don't love mattress shopping. In fact, many dread it. And why wouldn't they? Many mattress stores use high-pressure sales techniques like today-only pricing and tout features that don't really offer a benefit. They offer an overwhelming number of options to confuse things even further. At OMF, we do things differently. Our showrooms are easy to navigate, and our sales team actually cares. Our goal is to answer your questions, not pressure you into purchasing. OriginalMattress.com.
Stay warm and comfortable this fall and winter with Tempstar Heating and Cooling Products. Now is the perfect time to get your furnace ready for the cold. To find a comfort professional Tempstar dealer near you, visit Tempstar.com.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Your station for news. WTDN, WOTC HD2 Asheville,
An iHeartRadio station.
From ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. Early voting's underway in all 50 states with a few battleground remaining the primary focus, and ABC's Mary Alice Parks says both candidates focused on the same one Friday.
Both candidates focusing on the future of the auto industry. Harris meeting with auto worker union members in Lansing, Michigan.
We will ensure that the next generation of breakthroughs, from advanced batteries to electric vehicles, are not just invented but built right here in America by American union workers.
Trump talking about his plan to impose steep tariffs on imported cars.
I'm not going to let them sell cars into our country in order to destroy the rest of Michigan.
Today, Harris has another event in Detroit, then heads to Atlanta. Former President Trump campaigns in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. Friday, he also hit back at reports that his aides had to cancel some events because he was exhausted.
I'm not even tired. I'm really exhilarated. You know why? We're killing her in the polls.
Hundreds of people had to evacuate their homes Friday in the Oakland Hills. A wildfire erupted, and ABC meteorologist Kenton Jewicki says there are more than 15 million people under fire alerts in California.
Those alerts all the way along the coast, even inland, of course, Redding down to Burbank, where gusts are up to 55 miles per hour and down to 5% relative humidity as well. So everyone in California, make sure that at least for the rest of today, even tomorrow for safe measure, don't be sparking anything that might start a fire there because they can move quickly.
33,000 Boeing machines have been on strike for over a month, but their union says it received a new offer from management that's worth reviewing. The acting Secretary of Labor has been in Seattle trying to bring the two sides closer to an agreement. Meanwhile, about 200,000 mail carriers reached a tentative deal with the U.S. Postal Service. It includes backdated pay raises and air-conditioned trucks. Union members need to ratify it. You're listening to ABC News.
It was a heartbreaker last night in Cleveland.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Gleyber Torres. Here it comes. And he lines one up the middle. A huge hit for Gleyber Torres. Here's some insurance as Volpe touches home. Clase gets touched up again. A clean single up the middle for Torres. The Yankees bounce off the mat. They lead at 8-6 in the ninth.
And that would be the final score from Progressive Field as the Guardians fell to the Yankees in Game 4 of the ALCS. Emmanuel Clase gets the loss. Game 5 tonight at 8 o'clock.
We good, Al?
Postseason baseball, just one of the big things going on in Cleveland this weekend.
What?
Dave Matthews Band among the performers being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame tonight, along with Mary J. Blige, Peter Frampton, and others. This 4 male suspects. Ohio BCI called in after an early morning hostage situation led to a suspect being shot dead in Mansfield. Police say they were called home where they allegedly found a man in the doorway with a knife who appeared to be under the influence. He had his girlfriend and her 2 children inside the home. Hostage negotiators spoke with him for about 3 hours. Children were released, and then police say that girlfriend tried to escape. That led to the suspect being shot and killed by officers. Voting next weekend. I'm Jack Crumley.
Your latest news, traffic, and weather.
If you're not informed, then you're out of...
All you have to do is ask.
Play 610 WTVN on iHeartRadio.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help you troubleshoot the likely cause of your pesky check engine light for free and help you save time and money down the road. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Hey Columbus, it's Bill and Jenny from Simple Bath and Kitchen.
We're not just another contractor. We're family owned and Columbus is our home, just like it's yours.
We love our community and we love working to give you, our neighbors, their dream homes. There's only one Simple Bath and Kitchen and it's right here in Columbus.
That's right. No franchises or corporate offices. Just real people, real service, and real care for your home.
Don't settle for less. Swing by Simple Bath and Kitchen today and we'll walk you around our showroom so you can start to reimagine your own space.
Simple Bath and Kitchen, where our home is your home.
Hi, I'm Rick Germain.
Hey,
at Toyota
Edward.
West, you don't have to choose between a great experience and a great price. Right now, you can lease a new 2024 Corolla for just $239 a month. Or if you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle, we've recently doubled our inventory, so we have what you're looking for. Come see us at the Auto Mall, Georgesville Road, or get started today at ToyotaWest.com. 36-month lease, $32.99 due at signing, 10,000 miles per year, 0 security deposit, excludes tax, title, registration, and doc fee with approved credit, excludes HV, GR, and Corolla Cross, expires 10/31/24.
Have you driven around Columbus lately? Hobos begging for money on every corner, road rage incidents happening daily, and random assaults, they just seem to be more prevalent. If you carry a firearm or pepper spray or anything to defend yourself, have you thought about what will happen if the time comes when you need to protect yourself and your family? Today, you'll hear actual stories of Ohioans protecting themselves and the company who protected those victims long after the incident. All that and much, much more. On Target is up next.
Live from LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility, this is On Target.
Good afternoon. Welcome to On Target. We're broadcasting live from the studios of LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility that's located at 999 Bethel Road. I'm your host, Eric, along with, I got Big Ed.
Hey.
I got Big Ed here.
I'm here.
Welcome back.
I'm here. Thank you. I only missed one week, and then the week before that you were closed, so because you had to work.
I'm just happy you found us.
Hey, you know what? We got a complaint.
999 Bethel Road.
We got a complaint. Mm-hmm. You can't call those people hobos.
What am I going to call them? Vagrants?
So those are people who
unhoused. That's what they call them now. They're unhoused.
Needing help.
That's a bunch of
bullshit. Oh, am I allowed to say that?
No.
Sorry,
Ella.
Sorry, Ella. Don't yell at me.
So, guys, today I got JC on the live line as well. JC, you there?
I am here, and Big Ed, it's good to have you back. You never looked better from here.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
So, JC, did I tell you? So last weekend, we did the show and stuff, but I got a text right after the show. Did I tell you this, JC? I know I didn't tell Ed.
No, didn't talk to me.
So I get a text right after the show last week from Bernie Marino. And he says, hey, look, we've been running off a little steam. I'm like, absolutely. So met Bernie up here today, And we shot for a couple hours. He was here with a couple people, and really, I mean, not to sound, but it was a blast. I mean, we had a great time. Shot a bunch of different things. At the end of it, I said, "Hey, have you ever shot the Opata course?" And he's like, "No, why would I shoot the Opata course?" I put him through the Opata. I said the 25-round Opata course.
Yep.
Passed it first try.
No way.
Yes.
Good for him.
Yeah, I gave him an honorary badge, LEPD badge.
Is he really?
Yeah, just our stickers and stuff. Yeah. Honestly, I mean, it's not often, and most people don't have the opportunity to be able to sit down and interact with some of these candidates, one-on-one, and to truly see how they are.
Right.
And just the things that, in that few couple hours here, you start to see how that person is, how they interact with others, and so forth. And what a good, solid person. I mean, really, we need to get out there and vote and make sure. And, something, in Ohio, we're fortunate because, hopefully President Trump is going to lead the ticket here. And we got to make sure people don't get lax and say, you know what, I don't need to vote because we feel confident about President Trump, because it's more than just President Trump on there.
That's right.
And it's the Senate. And we need to make sure he gets in there because there's so much at stake.
Don't assume just because everybody else wants him that they don't need your vote. They need your vote as well.
Right. So, so that's just our pitch to get out and vote. Guys, we are the owners of LEPD Firearms Range and Training Facility and are active in law enforcement. But for 1 hour on Saturdays, we put together a group of firearm experts to discuss new products in the market, training tips, and oftentimes political topics surrounding the Second Amendment. Our commitment, though, has always been to bring you the facts about our industry and help customers and listeners with safe, responsible ownership of firearms. Today, guys, we have JC in the news.
Yes.
And do you remember just last week?
Just last week?
Talking about the FBI Uniform Crime Report stats.
Yes.
And well, looky here. President Trump, right again, in the debate. Do you remember in the debate where he was corrected by, I forget the guy's name, the ABC.
David Muir.
There you go.
Disgusting news moderator.
Muir.
So during the debate, President Trump says, violent crime is up. And he's like, no, excuse me. They said violent crime is down. Well. Just like the job reports that on the, when the lights are off, they revamp the numbers. Well, they just revamped the FBI uniform crime numbers from 2022. And guess what? I won't steal your thunder, JC, but JC is going to talk about that it changed quite a bit, Ed. It changed quite a bit.
I bet
so
it did.
We'll see that coming up here soon. And, let's see what else. Got a couple cool firearms to talk about that walked in the door this week. And then at 12:30,
Hold it.
Super
excited. You had a
excited.
gun walk in by itself?
Walked right in, Ed.
And
sometimes they
do
go
they
off by
fire
themselves.
by themselves too?
Occasionally they do. At 12:30, though, we are super excited. We've been talking about this for a long time. We're going to welcome Wilkes Ellsworth to the show. Now, he's from US LawShield. He's their head program attorney for Ohio. And he's someone, honestly, you hope you never have to talk to. He's one of those attorneys here for US LawShield that will help represent you if you are in a situation of defending yourself. And it doesn't have to be just with the firearm. It's defense of yourself through hands, fists, feet, through mate, whatever the case is. And we invited him on today because when I talked to him in passing, some of the stories are so compelling to hear how US LawShield has stepped in and helped these citizens like you and I, who you don't often think about. I mean, we spend all this time talking about holsters and which gun and which ammo to buy, but do you talk about what happens afterwards if you have to protect yourself? And so he's going to come on and tell us some of those stories. And actually, we're going to talk about this week right here on October 23rd, right here at LEPD, there's a self-defense class with these guys over at US LawShield as well. So we're going to talk about that. And, of course, I'd like to thank our sponsors. Of course, US LawShield being one of our big sponsors here. Jackson Egress Windows, Blackwing Shooting Center, Rivers Edge Cutlery, and CNS Engraving, all who make the show possible each week. Joining me today, as I said, I got Big Ed to my right. Good to see you.
Good morning. It's afternoon. You're right.
And JC, how are you doing up there in cold country?
In cold country. Actually, it's been pretty warm up there. This is pretty nice. There are more crowds up here than we've ever seen. We're to our disdain, but I'll be back for a long haul. We're having a second grandchild. We found out, so we're we'll probably be back in town for almost all the summer. So it looks, my son getting married, all that stuff. So we have a short stint up here. I'll be back in about 3 weeks. So
nice, perfect. You're going to get some deer hunting in while you're up there.
Oh, the deer. I looked out the window. There were 6 deer pressing their faces against downstairs window the other day. So I guess I opened the window and let them in. But yeah, so it's more deer up here than they said that they have had in a very, very long time.
I think that's the case everywhere. The population has just exploded recently. I'm not too
well,
sure.
I got one last year, or it got me. That ran full speed into the side of my car while I was doing 50 miles an hour. I didn't even see it. It was just a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and it was gone.
I guarantee you, he didn't see you either.
Yeah, well, he was jumping. So, anyway.
Yep. Well, guys,
we got some big news.
I know.
We have some major stuff. Are you ready for it? Are you?
Yes. You know what? We're ready for it. It's that important. So, yeah, go ahead, JC.
It really is. And I do have to emphasize this. You know, when they talk about conspiracy people going, how would they have weaponized the FBI? They've weaponized a lot of people. Almost are getting tired of hearing about it. But my God, it is the truth. This Democratic Party is absolutely disgusting in what they are doing, using all of these agencies to attack Trump. So the televised debate, how many people in the nation watched the debate, between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump? And instead of moderators, actually there were 3 people on the side of the Democrats. Both of the moderators were out attacking Trump. But when Trump came out and said, hey, crime is still an important issue to the voters, and crime is up. And infamously, this ABC News moderator, David Muir, I think he must be getting paid by the White House. I don't know, but he interjected saying, "Nope, that's wrong. FBI crime data actually shows that crime is down 2.1%," implying that disagreed. Said, "Well, I think crime is up." But what do you do when you're fronted out like that with this report? Well, guess what? Some people were a little suspicious of it. So Dr. John Lott, who's the founder and president of Crime Prevention Research Center, looked into this, and what did they find out? Not only was it not down by 2.1%, but it actually was up 4.5% in 2022. So what they were saying it was down, the difference is there was a 6.6% increase over what the Democrats were saying during the public debate that everybody got to see. So they're left with crime was down. It actually was up 6.6% from what they were talking about, the negative 220 plus a 4.5. So anyway, it wasn't just a guess that he did. He did a 1,450-word report on looking at absolutely everything. And he said the actual changes in the crime report were really extensive. So get this. The updated report shows that there were 80,029 more violent crimes in 2022 than in 2021. 80,029. And he broke it down. There were an additional 1,699 murders, 7 FBI staff under this administration. I mean, seriously, that is so telling the country that no, Donald, you're wrong. It's actually down. And yes, Donald, you're right. It's actually 6.6% greater than we were telling you. So, but he also he's claiming perhaps that these revelations could be devastating to the Biden legacy, because this would actually surprise you. And the quote was that from his report, while the FBI claims that serious violent crime has fallen by 5.8% since Biden took office, so that's over the full time, the actual numbers show that the total violent crime has risen, get this, has risen by 55.4%. Rapes up 42%, robbery up 63%, aggravated assault up 55% during Biden's administration, which is more than twice as large as the largest previous increase over a 3-year period. Is that incredible? That really shocked me.
John, and I went and well, 2 things. One, I Googled violent crime down because that was what they preached, and the number of national headlines in the media that touted that, and the number of times Kamala said it, and all those idiots said it It's incredible. I mean, it's all a lie. We knew it. We knew it. It didn't feel right. And by golly, as always comes back when you start looking at the stats, it wasn't right. JC, did he say, how did those numbers pop in? Was it data from specific cities that added it up?
Well, he just went. I mean, I don't know what he did. It is 14,050-page report. I couldn't have done a word report like that. But he, when he went through looking at everything, he did give a percentage, which I didn't put down here, on the number of, he thinks that was wrong. The FBI said 70% of the people reported. You and I know that they didn't issue this report for a couple of years because they said they had to have over 50% of the police agencies report, and many did not. I mean, he didn't list, probably in his article, which I did read, but like Los Angeles was mentioned as one that didn't submit their report. I mean, really, Los Angeles, they don't have any of their crime stats in there. So I guess that's why they're off so much. But the fact is, they're lying to the people. They know it. And not only do they know it, actually, he did his report. He said they secretly corrected it, but did not mention anything about it when they did their September report this year. So they didn't mention that their stats were wrong. He said he had to go through and review every single stat from 21 to 22 and individually pull out each one. But still, it's shocked me that violent crime has risen 55.4% during the Biden administration.
I wonder if David Muir will make a correction on that on his night.
Right. Nah.
It's the same old thing. They say it and it's out there, and under the cover of the darkness, that was wrong. That was wrong.
Lie.
Yeah, it's incredible. JC, let's go to a break. When we come back, we're going to get some more news and some more stats before our guest at 12:30. We're on Target, broadcasting live from the studios of LEPD Firearms and Range. We'll be back right after the break.
What's happening?
Who's our guest?
Did you just not listen? Wilkes from US LawShield.
I never heard okay.
Talking about that. No, you were too busy cussing. Now, poor Ella is scrambling.
Bullscat.
She's scrambling.
I said bullscat.
She's scrambling because now she's going to get fired.
No, she's not.
Ella? See, look at that. She's already gone.
Issue 1.
Definitely. Actually, next week.
Don't believe it.
Good. Next week, Lieutenant Governor Husted's coming on, too, to talk about it. Yep. It's super important.
So you're voting yes or no for it? You're voting yes?
No. Is that the actual ballot language? Okay, good. If you can, are you gonna leave that? Yes. Perfect. Awesome.
Actually, I'm also gonna say you need more women's stuff.
Well, you know what? Like in here or on the show? You know what? We did a month of women's stuff, and we did. We needed 2 hours.
What would you like to see in women's stuff? A what?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Years and years and years ago, but no,
Here we go.
Yep. Your BC6 first warning weather, guys. Get this. This is going to be short and sweet. Today, sunny skies, 72. Tonight, clear skies, 43. Sunday, sunny skies, 73. Monday, sunny skies, 75. That it is currently. Oh, I looked at everything but the current temperature, Ed. What is the current temperature? It looks like it is 65 degrees on your severe weather station, News Radio 610 WTVN.
Ohio's talk station, News Radio 610
Can you help you out?
WTVN.
You don't even have me on. Asking me questions. I can't answer. You don't have me on. Jeez. 65 degrees. It's really 68 out there. What's the weather going to be tomorrow? Sunny and 70.
You listening to the song, Ed?
Yeah, I'm not taking it anymore.
Right.
I've had it.
Welcome back to OnTarget. I'm your host, Derek, joined today in the studios. I got the big Ed sitting to my right. I got JC on the live line still. JC, get us a little bit more news. What else you got going on there?
This is we got a couple of things that could be really big. For example, the states that have banned possession of AR. I don't know if a lot of people even know that, but there's a few states out there where you can't possess ARs. And what happens if I only have it? Too bad. You got to get rid of them for whole states. But it hasn't gone to the Supreme Court yet. So they this was covered, of course, in several of the magazines. Bearing Arms had a good article on it. But so the Supreme Court's kind of sending signals on gun ban cases. So Maryland Attorney General Anthony Brown, he attempted to delay a Supreme consideration of the state's ban. So Maryland has banned what they call assault, their definition of assault weapons. So on Friday, SCOTUS issued it was an unsigned order, just in general, saying, hey, we're going to give you a couple extra weeks to file your response. He was hoping to delay it to like after the election. I didn't want to have anything heard ahead of time, didn't want to raise any concerns while the voting was still going on. So anyway, but the Supreme Court said we'll give you a couple extra weeks, and groups, there are two folks that are, well, actually, there's one big case on this one, and it's the scope case. So the fourth court, the Supreme Court, the Brown is wanting to have a Supreme Court review saying that their ban is absolutely constitutional, and yes, we can ban the ownership of the millions and millions of ARs, not to mention the other guns that would fall under that category. That would be tens and tens of millions more. But so anyway, gave him another couple weeks, and the attorney Mark Smith, who is challenging the ban, said that they've got a new schedule now because of this. They granted a little bit of a delay, and the first Snope case to be heard, it should be heard in conference on the 13th of December, and this is the last conference day of the calendar year for the court. So he wanted to get it in before the end of the year. And then what they're doing is with this, they have their discussion, their closed-door discussion, what's going on, and they're going to see if they should grant a certiorari to hear oral arguments to challenge Maryland's ban on assault weapons. So are they going to do it or not? Well, there's no guarantee that the court will grant this certiorari after just one conference. However, when you look at the judges on the court, because all it takes is 4 judges to grant this certiorari and 5 to win on merit. So, of course, 9 on the court. So 4 would grant hearing the orals of this case, and 5 to win on merits. But so they're looking at it, just to let the folks out there. The scorecard is that Gorsuch and Alito and Thomas are eager to hear this Snope. I said scope. It's S-N-O-P-E, the Snope case. And Kavanaugh, they haven't kind of let Kavanaugh, Roberts, and Barrett haven't really said, but when they look at Kavanaugh, they said he's probably the most likely to vote in favor of granting the certiorari, and that he's previously, his opinions were that bans on semi-automatic firearms labeled as assault weapons are unconstitutional. And he did that in a 2011 challenge to Washington, D.C.'s ban on modern sporting rifles. Kavanaugh dissented with the majority. So they're figuring, this is just being optimistic, that Gorsuch, Alito, Thomas, and that Kavanaugh also, that would be the fourth member. They need 5. And the folks who are court watchers saying that the Chief Justice Roberts, he just doesn't appear to be happy with the courts that have, with the 4th and 7th Circuit courts, because of what that he was holding that commonly owned semi-automatic rifles, they were holding that they weren't protected by the Second Amendment, and Roberts said, wait, this doesn't seem to be right. So Roberts may be the 5th vote to find that the ban is unconstitutional. So they're optimistic that the courts will quickly grant the cert once the case is heard in mid-December. Again, that's the 13th. They're fairly confident that at least there'll be 5 votes in favor of striking down the ban on modern sporting rifles, the AR-15, and holding that semi-automatic firearms are just as protected by text history and the tradition of gun ownership, as the muskets were back in 1791, that's when the Bill of Rights went into effect, or repeating rifles in 1868. They already had repeating rifles at that time. So this is huge. I mean, this is a huge, huge case, and we're really keeping our eye on it. So we have to get them to vote on this right of certiorari. Then, if one of the other justices goes with it, then they will have the case, which they think will be, actually, if they do hear it, it'll probably be like June or July before the ruling would come out. But I mean, we're talking huge. This is a really, really, really big case. So we're keeping an eye on it. So So there you go. So that's a big one.
So, JC, we got about 1 minute here. Let me throw something out there, JC, and I didn't mention this to you, but did you know there is, amongst other things, rules in college football change or get tweaked year to year, right?
Yeah.
Did you know that there is a new rule out there in college football this year that it is an automatic, unsportsmanlike conduct when one of the players simulates shooting a firearm during their celebration?
I did hear that.
And honestly, I don't know how I feel about that. Part of me is like, hey, I have visions of, the fifth grader who points his finger like a firearm and gets suspended. But I think, honestly, these players, there's too much showboating for me. So I don't like any of it. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think I have a problem with that.
Well, it's just, let's face it, they're becoming woke everywhere, and I mean, yeah, I understand that they don't want to promote that, and if someone points it at someone and goes, if they do it up in the air like celebrating, I don't know. I guess it's up to the referees.
I mean, they're liable. The next step is that you point it at the other player, they're going to arrest you for assault.
Wow. I just hope they don't confiscate your gun, so to speak, while you're on the field. Wouldn't that be great? Take those fingers together. Yeah, make sure that he can't point that thing. So
that's right.
It's just kind of crazy.
Yeah, well, JC, we're going to go to the bottom of the hour news. When we come back, we have our good friend Wilkes from US LawShield. You're not going to want to miss this. He's going to talk about some of the actual cases in Ohio where they've helped defend the victim out of these cases, and it's something that we all need to think about if you carry a firearm in your daily life. We're on Target broadcasting live from the studios of LEPD Firearms and Range. We'll be back right after the news.
When it comes to kitchen,
I would have loved to take part of that conversation, but again, I was off.
Well, you were drinking. Here, let me.
You don't hear that.
I get emails.
Yeah,
you guys got to keep the
bull scat.
I get emails saying you guys have to keep the ancillary noises down.
Bull scat.
I show you to you.
So, do you have LawShield personally?
Yeah,
you do.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So, what else? Man, are we ever going to get to? We're not going to get to these guns again.
Oh man. These are boat anchors anyway.
What kind of boat, Ed? Small boat?
Dinghy.
A dinghy?
The gun is a dinghy. Too heavy for your pocket. Hello?
Oh, I'm listening here.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Elle can hear you, but she's mad at you.
Emily?
It's not Emily. It's Ella.
That's what I said. Ella.
She's really mad at you.
All right. She never liked me to begin with.
No, she liked you. She'd often say, I like Ed.
No, she never said that. Yes, the Al Smith dinner was very entertaining. Right on the money.
Did you watch it?
Yes, I did. Very funny. Right on the money as usual there, Brett. Keep it up.
Who else has checked in there, Edward? Anyone?
Steve says he never misses the show. Every Saturday, it's on his radio. Steve, that Antle. Thanks for checking in, Steve. Larry Wadsworth.
Hey, how is anyone griping about the connectivity today?
We had one person say that every time John talks about stats, right when he gives something very important, it gets cut out.
We did a couple things this week to tweak the overall connectivity, so
Well, apparently that one, well, it's probably on John's end because he's calling from so far away.
Yeah, what is it, Alaska?
Yeah, might as well be. We just don't say that word here, though. So you guys can figure that one out. So what happened with OSU last week? Was you working the game?
It was away.
Oh, it was away. Oh, that's right. I was out of town last week. That's right.
Yep. Yeah. Next week is a noon game.
I won't be here anyway.
Why?
Actually, you can cancel me out for the next 3 shows because of deer hunting. It's that time of year, Eric. I can't help it.
Ed, just go out, hunt, get the deer, and be on with your life.
It's not that easy, sir. And besides that, you got to have the camaraderie in the meantime.
There's not camaraderie right here?
Yeah, but it's not the same without a Miller Lite in your hand.
You can bring a Miller Lite.
I can?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The next 3 weeks, it's going to be beyond the election.
You're right.
It could be done. Our rights could be gone.
We'll be out there in the woods shooting it up for Trump when he wins.
10
too.
seconds.
There she is.
Uh-huh.
Ella.
Hi.
How are you? See, she is mad at me. You're right. I could tell the way she said hi.
From LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility, this is OnTarget.
Welcome back to OnTarget.
'Cause I'm TNT, I'm dynamite.
There you are. There you are, Ed. I turned the crowd music on instead of you. That was the actual crowd right here at LAPD.
Yes,
We're live.
I'm here. I'm live.
And that is the actual studio crowd today. You know what? For 2 people in there, you wouldn't think they'd be that loud.
Hey, they come in here more than me.
I know, that is a true statement. Guys, at our store, and probably I'm in using their self-defense tools such as firearms or mace or whatever they choose. And we talk about getting the right gun for the person. And we talk about the right ammo for the gun. And we talk about the right holster. But we haven't done a very good job teaching the customer or student about the realities of self-defense. And when you look at that, and when you look at if you're ever in that self-defense scenario, we always say that's going to occur at a time and place not of your choosing. It's not going to be the day that I got my flashlight here, I got my less lethal here, and this. No, it's going to be at a time when you're not expecting it. And so today we wanted to talk to one of our partners that we've had for a couple years now, US LawShield. They're one of the main sponsors of the show, a good partner here in the store. And we wanted to talk to their head program attorney in Ohio, Wilkes Elworth. And he first time on the show. I've talked to him a lot outside of the show, but welcome, Wilkes. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
We are great. You know, every time you and I speak, I hear the real stories about what you and US LawShield do for the members, especially right here in Ohio. And I thought to myself over the years, others need to hear the stories because we often get wrapped up in talking about the little things in self-defense, and I think we look beyond what's going to happen if we do have to use this firearm in a defensive scenario. So that's why I wanted to bring you on, because I know you are on the front lines of helping these victims be defended across the country.
Well, I absolutely am, and let me just start off by saying, I've been working with US LawShield for about 8 years now, since the program rolled out in the state of Ohio, and it's been literally one of the most, if not the most rewarding experiences of my career, which is going on 28 years now of representing people that find themselves in the system and they don't know what to do. They don't know where to turn next. And so you're exactly right. People are going about their lives on a daily basis, not looking for trouble. And, life just happens. Things happen many times through no fault of their own. And then all of a sudden they're thrust into the limelight of the system, and they're scared. They're people that have never been in trouble before. As you know, when I come speak at LAPD, I'm talking to people from all walks of life, right? Lots of new gun owners, people that have an idea that they need to protect themselves these days, I was listening to your show a little while ago, waiting for my turn, and you guys were talking about the crime rates and how the numbers are all skewed, and I see it out there. I see it. I hear about it from our members every day, and you're exactly right. People need to be educated. They need to understand that no matter how good they are, how law-abiding they are, in this day and age in the United States, things can just happen in a split second, and you may find yourself in a scenario where you have to defend yourself. So I relish my opportunity to come and talk to people and educate them and try to keep them out of that situation.
And Wilkes, one of the things I think a lot of people don't think about, there's a couple different sides of the fence here. You might be exonerated criminally, but there's the civil side of it that always seems to come into play now, and that can be just as devastating, if not more. So it's something that it all goes to the consideration whether you want to carry a firearm for protecting yourself. And it's not just a firearm, it's self-defense in general, but it's all things you need to think about long before you ever have to use it.
Absolutely. You stated it perfectly, because people, everybody, and I say this in all my presentations, all my speaking engagements I do, I always tell people, the only thing everybody ever thinks about when they have a firearm, when they go through scenarios in their head about what happens if I have to use this, is the criminal liability aspect. Am I going to get charged with a crime? Am I going to lose my freedom? Am I going to have to go through the system and face a judge and or a trial, and they never really think about the other side of it. So I can go through, example after example after example of our members that have found themselves in a situation where they've been charged with something criminally, but there's a whole other side to it, like you spoke of. The civil liability issues are, like you said, they can be just as bad and sometimes worse than the criminal. You can get charged with a misdemeanor, and it's upsetting, and you've lived a law-abiding life your whole life, and you're facing this misdemeanor charge, and there's no chance you're going to go to jail. There may be some probation or a fine or something like that. Scary enough, right, for the law-abiding citizen. You get sued. Civil lawsuits can last. I've been involved in cases that have lasted years and years. They can be devastatingly expensive, and everything you've worked for your whole life is at risk. Now you talk about scary. You have expense. You have the fear of losing all of your assets. You have the trials and tribulations of having to go through this process for years, and people don't think about that. They just think about, well, I don't want to get charged with a crime. So, yeah, you have to look at it both ways for sure.
Right. So give us an example. Give us some of the highlights of some of the stuff you've seen that people would be shocked at, or, someone was going about their business and all of a sudden found themselves under this scenario.
Okay. Right off the top of my head, and the one example I use consistently, and it's really one of the most rewarding outcomes I've ever had with a US LawShield member, was a college kid. He's 21 years old. He's a football player. He's living his best life. He's performing on the field. He's performing in school, and he's living in an apartment on campus, like many of us did that went to college. And he and his roommate decided to allow the roommate's cousin to stay with him. The cousin all times, and so they got with us for a few weeks, so you get on your feet. He proceeds to just entrench himself in the apartment, cause chaos. He's aggressive. He's violent. He won't leave. He's stealing things. He's threatening. And they're trying to get him out. After months of trying to get him, the police uses his firearm and fires what people typically call a warning shot in the hallway as he's getting pursued by this this crazy cousin who's got a hammer. And the prosecutor in that town decides to charge him with felonious assault, doesn't feel his actions were reasonable, and this process starts. He calls the hotline. We get involved. I make trip after trip after trip over the course of about 9 months to the town up in the middle of Ohio, and we get to the trial date, and they're offering him 8 years. 8 years in prison. This kid whose life is about to start. He's got one more year of college. He's, a sports star. He's got everything ahead of him, and they want to put him in prison for 8 years because of, his actions in that hallway that day, which I clearly felt were justified, as did many others. So what did we do? We declined the offer, and we're prepared to literally call the jury in. Had subpoenaed every police officer in the town that had ever responded to a report about this guy at this apartment. I subpoenaed a lawyer who was going to handle the eviction. Everybody I could bring in. I was able to help him get through that, and the resources I had at my, we utilize experts. We do all kinds of utilize expert twice a year, and says, hey, I do my job because I've been trained to do it, and I appreciate doing it for people. But I look forward to him calling every year and giving me an update on his life, and he's living his best life, and that couldn't be more of an example of someone who took advantage of the program, and it worked to his benefit.
And go ahead, Ed.
I got a question for you. In a scenario where you just gave, when they realized they weren't going to be able to get a conviction or win, why did they wait so long? And this is the part that's tormenting for somebody that's in the scenario.
Sure.
Months or years of worrying about it and thinking that, my life's going to end, and the stress that they're under. Why would the state wait till the last minute to say, yeah, we're going to dismiss it? Instead of
in that scenario, typically, I'll give you the general overview. Okay, prosecutors are prosecutors. Prosecutors prosecute, defense lawyers defend, and the prosecutors get it in their minds that, hey, this person's, we've charged this person, and we've secured an indictment for this person, so we're going to see it to the end. And many of them will take it all the way through a trial, knowing full well that either the person's been way overcharged or that they're not guilty of the offense, other than just basic claims from the other side, from the quote-unquote victim in this case. I think in this situation, the prosecutor, was doing that for the 9 months that we were defending the case, and then when it came time to bring a jury in and know he was going to have to rely on this erratic and aggressive and violent quote-unquote victim, that he did the right thing. I think he saw it for what it was. We had many conversations with the judge in chambers, and I think he realized, what, we're not going to win this. And he did the right thing. Why does it take him all the way to that point? I don't know. I've seen numerous examples over my 28 years of prosecutors having plenty of evidence to realize that their initial, assessment of the case is not bad anymore, and still not dismissing charges. But many of them out there do the right thing, and many don't. It's just, it's kind of a crapshoot.
We're talking to Wilkes Ellsworth. He is the head program attorney in Ohio for US LawShield. Wilkes, are you able to hang on for 1 sec through a break and maybe get to one other story?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, guys, let's jump to a break, and we come back on the other side talking more about how US LawShield can protect you if you find yourself in that self-defense scenario. We're on Target, broadcasting live from the studios of LAPD Firearms and Range. We'll be back right after the break.
More than just...
Is he still on? Can he still hear us?
Oh, he can't hear us, I don't think.
I want to give him a scenario.
Well, he had one more to talk about.
I know.
Yeah.
But I'd like to, if I have time, to throw a scenario out there to see what his opinion is.
Yep.
Are you going to play this Tim Walz bit, or do you just tell me this so that I can't go to the bathroom for your entire show?
He wants you to sit there and have your legs crossed the whole time.
Yeah, I have to. I can't even get up.
He tells me that at the beginning of every show.
Is it bad if you hold it for next week?
No.
That's what I was talking about.
I'll never make it.
No,
Been doing it all day.
To ensure that there's no more cuss words.
I said bullscat.
I know.
You got them all wound up.
Thank you for your support,
fine.
Ella.
Sure. Saving it for next week?
Yeah, let's save it.
All right.
I'm not going to get to it, so.
Okay.
Is that
Morning weather for today: sunny skies, high of 72 tonight, clear skies, low 43. Tomorrow, sunny skies, 73. Monday, sunny skies, 70. That's a nice forecast, Ed. It is currently 68 degrees on your severe weather station. News Radio 610 WTVN.
10 WTVN.
Welcome back to OnTarget. I'm your host, Eric. Joined today, I got Big Ed to my right. I got JC on the line. I also have on the line our good friend, Wilkes Ellsworth with US. Do you have any other stories that people would be eager to hear about how you guys have helped?
It lent itself to that civil liability issue we talked about earlier. Have to make sure this is a responsibility. Having a gun is their firearms. I had a member several years ago who was unloading, and as he was unloading it, he shot the passenger in his vehicle, purely accidental, what we call negligent in my business. And that passenger, who was a friend of his, suffered injury to his leg that was pretty significant, requiring some work and whatever permanent damage parking lot. And you accidentally shoot your friend, and we've had lots of open you up to some significant liability on
that. I mean, it's a responsibility, and of course, it's a constitutional right. When this happens, I just assume something will happen at some point, and it's worth thinking about if you're choosing to carry a firearm for defending yourself. I mean, at this point. Or it was one of your other co-workers on the 23rd.
I don't have that one in front of me, but
sure.
It's Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday the 23rd. Correct.
And that is of you jumping on, Wilkes, and of our partnership with you guys. And is there anything your weekend there, and maybe we'll see you this week or on the next if you're out there carrying a gun. We got a couple minutes left. JC,
I mean, sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction, but, you need, even in a justified, as he said, situation, but they're not reporting all this stuff is happening. I mean, they're criminals for a reason, and the murderers for a reason. When I think you guys remember that Governor Walsh, he was trying to, like a lot of politicians going, he wanted to show how much he's been pro-gun, right? So he puts on the camouflage and gets all, it was just nothing but a photo op. There are tons of cameras around showing him in the field with his blaze orange outfit and fumbling for votes in a field, as I say. But he struggled alone his own shotgun. If you watch him, it was like he couldn't figure out how to get the shells in. And this was the shotgun he reportedly told the news media he was fond of shooting. I thought that was funny. A couple of the wags that were there just said he looks as comfortable loading his shotgun as Kamala does answering questions. And another one said he's so bad with a weapon that he saved American lives by not being in a war zone. So, but what we can't fail to remember, because he goes, here I am, just like a regular guy hunting. He's trying to get you to forget. He wants to ban your possession of ARs specifically. He says, we've got to get these off of there. I was in the military. These are dangerous. We need to take these away from the American people. So with all this other crap he's doing, he and Kamala, they want to do this. They're going for election. They're going to tell you anything. The moon's made of green cheese. If that's what you want to hear, they're going to say it. But they are coming after. If they would get in, you wouldn't believe what would be happening. She banned all handguns in San Francisco when she was there. She sponsored it. It passed. It got overturned, of course, because it was unconstitutional. She supported it. Did a writ to support the ban of all firearms in Washington, D.C., and she said that she would come into your home. She goes, if you don't have them locked up, yes, if you think it's locked up, and we want to make sure that we will come into your locked home and check on it. So we cannot have her in office.
And JC, we got to get out to vote. I mean, the gun owners of this country need to get out to vote. They say it in their own words. This isn't us connecting the dots. They say it in their own words. So we got to take them seriously. Guys, thanks for spending the last week with us. Up next week, Lieutenant Governor Husted stops in or calls in. Bernie Moreno calls in. It's getting close to crunch time, and we need to support those who are going to support our right to keep and bear arms. Thanks for spending the hour with us. Good seeing you, Big Ed. And as always, guys,
get out there and vote.
Get out there and vote. Let's be careful out there.
Listen on the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, news, talk, and sports radio. Podcasts too. Download the app. Free never sounded so good.
So how do we create value? This is Greg Trzynski from the Original Mattress Factory. Value comes from having complete control over our product quality. From design to manufacturing to delivery, everything is handled in-house by
you ready,
professionals. This approach allows us to maintain strict quality standards and respond quickly to customer needs. We believe true value is created when a company takes full responsibility for its products. When you choose OMF, you're getting a mattress built with care and attention
OnTarget. This week, Lieutenant Governor Husted and Senate candidate Bernie Moreno check in. And remember, if you own a firearm, you need to vote today. Tune in right here Saturday at noon or live from LAPD Studios on Bethel Road.
We provide personalized service and unique designs that reflect
Tune
your
in tomorrow at noon or live from LAPD Studios on Bethel Road.
Like just another client.
Because at Simple Bath and Kitchen,
tune in today at noon or live from LAPD Studios on Bethel Road.
Stay warm and comfortable this